Today, I want to share with you a coaching call with a small supplement startup brand. His goal for this brand is to generate $3,000 a month, a pretty modest goal, but he's more time rich and money poor, meaning he has more time than money to put into the business. And he's okay with it generating $3,000 a month and taking a year or more to get to his goal. Listen in and see what you can learn. Welcome to Health Business Mastery, the Creative Thirst podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Hewitt. So tell me a little bit about your brand, your vision, and what niche your supplement brand serves.
So the niche is it's a supplement for stress, anxiousness, and mood. I've struggled with issues of mood and mental state and not feeling as happy as I'd like to be and more anxious than I'd like, more stressed than I'd like. So I set out to look for something that was not prescription based. I don't want to go deep in debt. So my strategy, it may sound silly, but I'm thinking, hey, the first month, if I could sell 25 products, each month increase by 25 from then. I mean, the thing is, that way I could put maybe just a few thousand a month into it and at least prove to myself and my wife, who's mainly supporting the family at this point as I go on this venture, to prove, hey, we can slowly pull ahead. It may be small, but it represents progress. That's what I want to see. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. I think people really undervalue time in the equation because you can win pretty much in any business game by just spending more time, or really more time at the game. Now, it really also comes down to runway. It sounds like you may have at least a cushion. I'm not sure if you have the runway, but at least you have the cushion of not being 100% reliant on supplement business right now.
Right.
Because you're making money.
I do.
Yeah, in other areas. So the longer you can extend that runway in respect to not being reliant on it, but also having enough money to keep it going, then you're going to increase your chances of success as well.
This is why I reached out to you, because I realized it's going to be so critical to do the best optimization in the beginning so I can get through those first few months, because obviously month one, I'm going to be in the hole. Month two, maybe I start breaking even. I don't know, but at least I know I've got to give it a few months, in my opinion, to start seeing anything positive. So I need to be able to get through that. And that's why I was hoping I could get a little guidance with some, ideas I had, a lot based on what I'm reading from you and a lot my own research. And I realize, yes, this is a constant game of testing. You can think you know what's going to work, but it's not going to work for my product, my case, my channels. I get that, but I want to at least rule out things like, hey, that's a crazy idea. If without guidance, I feel like, yeah, I can have a great product, but I can run out of money or patience or both. And one of those is going to doom me. So I'm just trying to get those first few months the best chance and then really fine tune, right?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I know the site is still in development and it's really just a homepage right now. But looking at the homepage, I think it's unclear what the product does. So when I get right to the homepage, the initial sort of hero section, the copy reads, "Your best days ahead. Imagine each day where you experience less stress, tension, and moodiness, and more peace, calm, and happiness, where you can feel, perform, and sleep better while enjoying physical and mental well-being for less than a cup of coffee." Then it goes on to introducing the product, right? And then you scroll down a little bit more, and we got a sort of like a problem section. Relate to these, question mark. Tired of feeling meh more days than excited, easily irritated for no reason, worn out from stress and tension, looking to improve your mood and have a more balanced state of mind, tossing and turning in bed most nights, or wonder how to perform and recover better with your workouts. So just from reading that copy, as a customer, I'm a little confused. I don't know. I kind of get the sense that this might be a sleep product, but from talking to you, it's not, right? Because you mentioned sleep in that hero section. You mentioned tossing and turning in bed. You mentioned recovering from workouts. So it's like, I'm not sure what this thing is for, is my initial read. It seems like it's for everything and everything and all of that.
which is not niche down. So yeah, I get it. Actually, I need to focus and just highlight on these things I'm trying to niche down on.
Exactly. Now,
Even though it does have these benefits, I did pick the ones that have the true benefits. It is nice. It has a lot of different benefits, but you're right. I need to niche down and not put everything out there, even though it's the case. Okay.
yeah, I mean that's the case with most supplements, right? There's ingredients that do a lot of different things, but marketing that and actually what the ingredients do are kind of two different stories.
Okay.
Because the common public doesn't realize that this ingredient does 17 different things. It's like that makes it more confusing for them. They want it to be super simple. It has to be like this for sleep, that for mood, this other thing for recovery. When you try and bundle it all together, you run into marketing problems, messaging problems, and also price problems too, because then you're putting everything in your supplement, and now that drives up the cost of the product. So it drives up the price of the product. And now that drives up the need for more powerful marketing, but the marketing is diluted because you're saying it does everything, and that becomes unbelievable. Does that make sense?
Yes. And the main focus was that I set out for the mental stuff, and the physical and the other claims that I've put there came secondary, where people were taking it in my trial group and they started noticing these other things. Then I dug and I said, wow, these things are substantiated in the research. So, okay, gotcha. That's a good point. Well taken. Thanks. I hadn't thought of that.
So there's two ways you can go there. One way is you could research the market and see like what should you go after? Should it be mood? Should it be stress? Or you could look at what your feedback is from your trial base and say most of the people are saying it's actually sleep, and maybe pivot the marketing towards that.
Okay.
Now that may also affect the ingredients as well. You may, because if you get a bunch of people taking this for sleep, and yeah, it affects your sleep, it helps your sleep, but you may not need 3 of the 5. I don't know the ingredients. I haven't seen the ingredients list, but
Right.
you may be able to cut down on your formulation or change your formulation, right? And maybe you have 2 different products, one for sleep, one for stress.
Definitely. Yeah. If I can show progress and success with this first one, I have a list of others I'm going to do again based on real evidence. Yeah. So yeah, I think this one I really did set out for the mood, the mental part. And all of the ingredients were developed for that. So I would keep the same ingredients.
Yeah. So then if you're targeting the mood and mental health, I would get rid of all the mention of sleep. Get rid of everything about the recovery from better workouts, and really just hone in and focus on those big problems.
Good, thank you.
Right, that mental health. So that also kind of guides how you can market this thing. I would also consider leaning in on that sort of mental health space even a little bit more. So this is advice that doesn't typically scale. It's unique to you since you're starting in your situation. Is money strapped basically and a longer runway, and you're comfortable with kind of just building that up. So if you think of that same sort of strategy of like high intent buyers,
Mm-hmm.
which is good for proving the market, but not great for scaling the thing to like thousands of sales a day. But you're not there yet. That's okay, right? We're still in that proving the market land.
Mm-hmm.
If you think of that end and you take that same strategy of that high intent buyer, then I would recommend also looking at connecting with mental health podcasts.
Okay.
and first doing a search and just listening to several of them, and then finding how you can contact those people, and see if you can become a guest on their show. And it's a episode that talks about the importance of mental health. It talks about some of the ingredients, but it's a soft pitch for your product.
Mm-hmm.
And give them some promotion, right? Give them some discount code special to that show, so that you could say, show A did this many sales and show B did that many sales. It's because you're not going to have like a lot. You're not going to have hundreds of these guest episodes.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be great if you did, but probably at first, because there's a lot of legwork to do it. Right? You got to make sure it's a right fit. You got to approach the person. They have to agree. You have to schedule it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you're probably only going to land like a handful every month or so, right? That would be great. That would be a great benchmark.
Okay.
But the intent of those people is going to be super, super high.
What about having paid ads on those shows also?
I wouldn't do paid advertising to those shows, because those shows are basically free. Like they're going to have you on as a guest because it's free content for them.
Okay.
So it's not going to cost you any money, which again fits with your strategy. Then you could leverage more of the budget you have towards those paid ads. But I wouldn't put paid ads towards someone else's show.
Okay.
I would just kind of leverage the audience they already have.
Gotcha.
And at first, you could start with like lower audience shows and then kind of work your way up to bigger audience shows. Because the bigger the audience, the more requirements the show is going to have. Like they're not going to want someone just to come on and pitch.
Yeah.
Right. And you're not going to do that. You're going to really talk more about the state of mental health, why it's important, the current situation of all the stress that people are under, the reasons for those stress, and maybe you can have some other solutions in addition to the supplement, right? You could have here are the 5 things I recommend. Basically positioning yourself as like a mental health expert.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah, and leverage your OT background as well. Because you see this every day with patients, and that's kind of your origin story too, right? Why you created this thing. So really express that origin story on these podcast episodes too.
Good point.
And then, it's, by the way, that's why you started the supplement company. That's your mission. That's what you're here to, that's your purpose basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, as a listener to the show, here's a coupon for, you can make it the name of the guest or the name of the show, something that you can tie back to the show specifically, and something that also feels more special to the listener. Right? It's not just save 10 is the coupon code. It's like, it's got the show name in it, or it's got the host name in it, or something very specific and short still, but specific to that channel.
Okay. Good point. Thank you. Before I was reading a lot of your blogs, listening to your stuff, I was looking more at, and this may be the case, building up an Instagram, potentially Facebook channel and following. And I think maybe because I'm playing the long game because of funds, I'm thinking I need to do that for the long side, the back end, not the back end, the long game, whereas the short game is more what we're talking here, the paid ads, the podcasts, right? So do you agree that I need to be working on building the Instagram and the Facebook channels?
Yes and no. You could. It really kind of comes down to what connects with you. Are you more of a writer? Are you more of a talker? Are you more of a video person? Like, are you just good behind a camera, just off the cuff? I would use that as the direction you go. Like, if you're more of a writer, then do blog posts. If you're more of a talker, maybe do your own podcast or do a YouTube channel. So for one person, it might just be easier to get behind the camera and just talk on the cuff. Another person, it might be easier just to stay behind the computer and just type away blog posts. Which do you feel you are?
I'm somewhere in the middle, honestly. I think I really have to get into it and try. I'm not so much talk off the cuff, but when I have information prepared ahead of me, I think I can set out and deliver it well. I feel like the video is going to really help people connect versus just another piece of written content.
Okay, so I think you're right. Video is going to connect more with people. And you might want to look at just YouTube, because I would also recommend sort of focusing. You only have so much time, especially with a full-time job and work and family and all that kind of stuff, right? And if you're on the long path, right, then you can afford to focus on just one channel and really see if you can do, a video a day for a week, or see if you can do, 20 videos in a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because there's more than just shooting the video, there's editing it, putting it up on YouTube, that kind of stuff, right? The technical hurdle to get around. Um, and then see how you feel about it. Like, see if you're comfortable doing that, see if you can produce more of these videos, because YouTube is a good discovery platform. It's a good education platform. It may be difficult to convert someone from YouTube right to purchase the product, but I wouldn't worry about that in the beginning. I would worry, if you're going to do a YouTube channel, I would just worry about building followers and then getting those followers from YouTube over to email or text message, some way that you can communicate to them directly and put an offer in front of them for your product.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And if YouTube works out, like if you find that you like it and you find that you're good at it, you can always leverage that content onto a blog post.
Yes.
And you may want to also experiment going the other way. If you need more structure around what to say, you might want to try like a 7-day YouTube channel challenge for yourself. You don't even have to publish it on YouTube. Just see if you can create a video every day for 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then take another 7 days and see if you could do a blog post every day for 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
Because you may go the opposite way. You may find that writing it is easier, and now you have your script that you just need to basically perform in front of a camera for YouTube. Because you can go from blog to YouTube, or you can go from YouTube to blog. Like, repurposing it one way or the other could work depending on what type of person you are.
Definitely. Okay. Now, obviously, I saw that I have to do the upsell and the one upsell and one downsell on my website. Given that this is a new product, people don't know it, they probably aren't going to trust it. Should I go, say, the 6 and the 3 and the 1? Does that make sense?
I'd go with the traditional 1, 3, 6.
Okay.
Because giving them more options versus just one option is always better,
Mm-hmm.
because you can anchor the high and they'll go towards the middle versus not buy anything at all.
Okay.
For the upsells, it's always great to launch with upsells. You could, of course, do the first upsell as more of the same, buy more of the same product, but now you have to get into discounting, and I don't know where your margins are, and because it's a unique formulation, your margins might not be there, right? So you will insulate your costs better if you have an upsell for more of the same product, and then just leave it at that. Like, you could do a downsell for more of the same but less, right? So let's say they bought one bottle, or say they bought just one bottle. You can upsell them 2 more, or upsell them 3 more, and then if they say no to that, downsell them to 2.
Yeah.
So you're still operating with that same individual product, like at the entire funnel. Before you have to worry about a second product or third product. Like, the money really is in the back end, and you do want to have more than one product, but right now it doesn't make sense to invest in a second or third product yet when you haven't validated the first product.
Okay. So, and when you sell 3, is the assumption that that person takes possession of 3 bottles at once, or they're sent out each month?
No, they take possession of it at once. You could go the subscription route if you wanted to, but in my opinion, it's going to be better, and especially in your case, to go for the one-time sale where they bought they bought one bottle and then you upsell them to three. So now they're getting four bottles in that one shipment. And it's better, in my opinion, because you get the price for those four bottles right away. You don't have to wait 30 days for a subscription and another 30 days for the next subscription, especially when money is a problem.
Okay, even though people are probably going to fall off if they're not on subscription, I guess that, okay. You're saying obviously in a perfect world, it would be better to do subscription, but not in my case right now because I'm doing my best to scrape ahead financially.
Exactly. And you need as much money up front as you can so that you can put it back into the advertising.
Good point. Thank you. Okay. All right. What I was thinking also to collect email addresses because I really want to collect valuable email addresses, not just a list I can buy. But to collect email addresses, I was thinking of running a giveaway promotion, say on Instagram, get something maybe about $300 worth of value, whether it's one item or several, that would, as much as I can, appeal to someone who's going to buy my product, not just a general Amazon gift card, something that would appeal to that niche and collect email addresses that way. What do you think of that strategy?
I think it's always good to build up your email list. There's a big difference between email leads and email buyers. So when someone buys your product, you have their email, and now you have like a list of buyers on the back end that you could sell more product or the same product to. But your leads list, like people who just opted in for a lead magnet, are a lot less qualified.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to convert as well. But you do need both in the supplement business to really make it work. So the difficulty is really getting someone excited enough to opt in for the thing that you're offering them.
To buy the product.
Either the product or whatever, or maybe you're offering like a PDF or a book or a a 7-step thing to reduce their stress, right? Because it has to be also believable. It's like that may not be believable when it comes to stress.
Mm-hmm.
Like the pill is more believable than some sort of program or some sort of book. So you can go the traditional route. I mean, I see you have the 10% off sort of pop up, putting the 10% off for the product. That's tried and true method. I think it's harder in the case of stress and tension with a lead magnet.
Okay, because of the believability.
Yeah, you can do maybe like a pre-launch kind of thing and do like we're giving 50% off if the margin is there again. Right, we're giving 50% off. The product hasn't launched yet, but it's coming out. Get people excited, get an email list going. And then when it comes out, you get your 50% off coupon as a way to kind of generate an email list. You're probably not going to get much traction if you don't put any money behind it, though. Like if you just try and do that organically, unless you already have a bunch of followers, because social media has become a pay-to-play world. You don't get the reach that you used to get, 10 years ago when you just posted something. So if you're not like paying for the ad, then it's not really getting seen that much. And it's a volume game in order to get those opt-ins.
Okay. Influencers, I saw that you said that's more of a down the road thing once you have your formula, your sales funnel, your conversions kind of dialed in.
To a degree, you could try that initially, but your budget is super, super limited, right? Like if you think about it, like you only do one thing, what's that one thing that you should do? And in my opinion, for you in your situation, I think it would be like Bing ads, like Bing keyword ads.
Okay.
Just because Bing is a little cheaper than Google.
Okay.
Now, influencers, You could find some micro influencers, they have 10,000 followers, maybe 5,000 followers, because they're going to be cheaper than influencers that are going to have, millions of followers.
Mm-hmm.
But it's essentially just another paid channel, just like any other. Like it's not like they're jumping up and saying, "Yeah, I'll do posts to my lists or post to my followers because you're going to give me a commission on every sale." Like the influencers want to be paid.
But that was the route I was going to go was, okay, you got to pay them a few hundred, whatever, for the production of the video. I get that for their time. But after that, okay, you get a percentage of each sale. I would think that would be a good incentive. But it sounds like, you got to find the right person, the right fit, don't you? Like anything, not just saying, oh, influencer, that works.
Right. And the more successful the influencer, like the less they're attracted to percentage of a sale because it's not guaranteed money.
They want their money up front. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that could be a lot of work working with several small influencers, a lot of headache in the beginning. Okay.
Yeah. I'd really focus on Bing
Okay.
and like those guest podcasts. And if you have the time, I'd add either YouTube or a blog to that.
So when you say YouTube, you mean get a channel up, put videos on as content. My stuff, I don't think I'm going to be as so good with the long form. The off the cuff is not as good, but the short form, I feel more comfortable with, like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts.
The problem with Instagram Reels is they kind of expire, right? They go away. Their lifetime is very short. Whereas like a YouTube, if you build up a channel, it lives on forever, and the more people watch it, the better the channel builds. Whereas Instagram is very quick. Like
YouTube, people go to your channel, search for you, whereas Instagram, you're just going to pop up in their feed your recent videos. And I guess, you know what? Now that they took that feature away, people used to be able to search on Instagram by keyword. You can't anymore. So you really can't do it as an educational channel like you can for YouTube.
right, it's becoming a pay to play. If you want to be seen, you got to pay. Yeah. So especially since you're going the long game, I would go YouTube over Instagram.
Okay. No, that's good. Very valuable. Okay. Bobby, I wanted to ask you pricing. So I'll just tell you. So I'm using NutraCap as my first manufacturer because their minimum order quantity is so low. That's my way in. Um, to obtain the product, I'm sorry, my cost of goods for them, we'll just say $20 per item initially. Then we're talking another 10. I'm going up a little, but 10 for shipping and packaging in a bubble mailer. We're talking another $10 for the 15% off coupon code. So you can see pretty quickly, I'm going to be lucky. Well, okay, down the road, forgetting that first purchase, that's going to be a loss with the advertising. I get that. But I'm lucky just on the surface to net $20 on a product. Am I pricing this properly at $59.99 when I'm paying $20 to obtain that?
59, I'd say, is pretty much the sweet spot. Sweet spot is between like 40 and 7. The problem is your cost of goods.
So obviously that's only going to get better. Well, I have to do as much as I can to increase my average order value through that upsell.
Exactly, which is why I recommend one time over the subscription.
Thank you. That's valuable. Okay. That as well as maintaining and nurturing these customers, getting them initially with the email, right? The back end, the email follow-up. First, I need to get them to understand how to take it, make sure they're taking it right, give them tips so they actually start that habit. Then I need to provide them true value so they stay on my email list and remember me and then keep that second, third, fourth month coming.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean you're almost definitely going to go in the hole on the first order, especially if it's a one bottle.
Right. I need to sell more than one to not be in the hole.
Yeah. And you can do that through upsells. You can do that through emails after the purchase. You should do that with both, really.
Yeah, to me, and I've seen, I think you said in so many words, like emails are the lifeblood of the supplement. business. And I can see that that's it. That's your communication. That's why I'm not going to say Amazon where I can't communicate with the customer. So yeah, I realize I need to make that a high priority to give them truly valuable content, not just nonsense that I'm repurposing from Chat GPT, and to show that I really care.
Absolutely. Yep. Right. And really just really good customer service as well. I don't undervalue that also, right? Like because your sales are going to be low. Let's say you reach your 25 sales goal, right? That's completely manageable that you can call up those 25 people individually, right? And say like, how's it going? How do you feel? How many did you take yesterday? How many did you take today? Like, and really get to know the customer. You could do that through email, you could do that through phone calls, but it's really manageable because it's a low number.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, right now you're doing things that don't scale right now, um, right? But you're doing those things because you want to get closer to the customer. You want to understand the customer better. Like, what's the big problem? Is it sleep? Maybe it is sleep. Maybe it's not stress. But like that's the hypothesis. So go lean into the hypothesis heavy with one or two problems that you're solving.
Mhm.
And you may change your strategy down the road just with more insight.
Mhm. And emailing people, I was looking at maybe 2 to 3 times a week. Where do you find the sweet spot between providing value but not irritating people and seeming spammy?
That's a tough one. I know the more you email, the more money you will make, but you only have one product, so there's a balance
How much
there.
do they need to keep hearing? Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. As long as you're providing value, 2 to 3 times is good for where you are.
Okay.
I think it might be tough to provide that much value consistently.
True value.
Yeah, exactly. Not just to buy more, which is why I think you got to lean more back on the customer service side, right? And open up the conversation to those people.
Mhm.
And it's okay if you do 2 to 3 emails a week. It's okay if you do more than that, even if you're truly having a conversation and not just, setting up an email sequence for these
Yeah.
people. You'll get to the point where you need to set up an email sequence with these people. But if you're meeting your goal at 25 sales, like just have a conversation in those emails, like, thank you for ordering. We're a small business. You're talking to the CEO. Like, I want to genuinely know like how you feel and what your situation is, and just start a conversation. And that conversation email could go back every day, right? You can go back and forth every single day for 2 weeks, even with some
Get
people.
that momentum going. They may say, hey, this guy's good, his product's decent, refer to a friend.
Yeah, exactly. And then at that point, you could ask for a testimonial, you could ask for a review.
Yeah, that I want to try to get in the beginning, ask for these reviews, like using an app on Shopify, because obviously I feel like that user generated content could be valuable in my marketing, and just for people to see it on the website being, oh, other real people are getting a benefit from this so they can relate. So what do you feel when I am going to be putting money, let's say on Bing? What is the target if I am selling a $60 product? Again, it's not really, we're not looking at that. We're looking at the average order value, which is to be determined. How much do you think it's going to cost to acquire a customer, or what would be the target to acquire a customer in a perfect world for that price product?
In the perfect world, it would be break even.
Okay.
Because then you're making your money on the upsells in the back end after the sale, and then you're adding more product.
Okay. What do you realistically expect it to cost? Because break even to me, with my small margins at this point, would be I could spend $20 to get that customer, and then I break even on the very first sale. But that doesn't sound like it's realistic, right?
No, it's not. You're most definitely going to go in the hole on that first sale where it's costing you money to sell to them.
So we really don't know how many dollars I will have to spend in advertising to acquire a customer.
No, Not yet. It really comes down to the niche, the price, the selling power on the page.
What are your feelings about? I used a proprietary blend because, and I have trademark applications pending. I'm trying to protect myself because I can see a big player could just copy this and I'd have no recourse. So I was thinking the beginning proprietary blend. I saw, AG1, of course, does this and they're wildly successful. So I thought, okay, maybe I can do that. I know in a perfect world, you want to disclose everything, but don't you think that leaves me vulnerable to a larger player coming along and just replicating it?
I don't think so because you don't really have anything yet. Right? A larger player is not going to say, "Oh, this guy is selling 25 sales a month. He's our competition."
What I'm looking at is the idea, because basically, when I go out there, there is not a product that is even similar to this right now. For things targeting mental health, they'll have at best a few ingredients, and often it's not the full effective dose that's been shown in the literature. So it's placebo. So this really is the first to pull it all together at effective doses. That's what I was worried someone would get the idea, be like, oh yeah, that is kind of good.
Well, that's not a novel idea. Right? That's not something that they can't already think of. They don't need your product to think of that idea. They
Okay.
don't they don't need to rip off your product. They can formulate, anything they want.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't worry about that. The only thing I'd worry about at this stage is sales.
Okay, I'm getting into details. Okay,
Yeah, like
go the
you're
right channels.
yeah, just consistency. Just keep plugging away at getting on podcasts,
Mhm.
consistency on putting out some content, whether it's YouTube or a blog or both. Um, and consistency on picking one channel and learning all the nuance of buying media in that channel.
Good.
And then just do those same things over and over for 3 years and you'll get there.
That's yeah. The goal, like I said, my goal is if after a year I can be making 75 grand in my pocket, I'd be happy, and then grow from there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're on the right path.
Well, good. Thank you, Bobby. You've been very helpful. I appreciate it. I hope to get to the point where I have the revenue that I can bring someone like you on to really optimize the conversions. That is the goal.
Yeah, I'm here when you're ready. I think just as long as you consistently plug away and you have the runway and the time to do it, and you're consistently doing it, the consistency is super key. You'll get there. Just don't worry about all the naysayers. Don't worry about the big scary risks of like someone's gonna steal it or someone's gonna sue me. Like that would be good if that happened. Because then you have something like truly amazing.
Nice. Well, thanks a lot, Bobby. You've been very helpful.
You're welcome. Best of luck.
Appreciate it. I will follow up with you.
Hope you do. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Bobby. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Creative Thirst is a direct response digital agency focusing on conversion rate optimization and A/B testing. We work with dietary supplement companies who are struggling to maximize the profitability of their funnels so they can scale. Through the last 7 years in the online health space, we've optimized many dietary supplement businesses. And in that time, we've uncovered the 3 critical funnels for success. We put together that information in a free digital download called The 3 Funnels Every Health Supplement Business Needs to Build a Multi-Million-Dollar Empire. You can get that free report by going to creativethirst.com. Scroll down to the appropriate section and click on the blue Get Your ebook button.